Hello friends, welcome to Crime Detective. Before we begin today's true crime story, I hope you and your family are safe, healthy, and happy. Our story begins on the night of June 13, 2026, in New York City. It was the night that millions of people had been waiting for. After 53 long years, the New York Knicks had finally won the NBA championship. The entire city was celebrating. Thousands of people filled the streets. Everywhere you looked, there was laughter, music, fireworks, and endless cheers. It felt as if the entire city had become one big celebration. No one had the slightest idea that within the next few moments, this celebration would turn into screams, SFX fireworks at first. People smiled. Some even raised their phones to record the fireworks lighting up the night sky. Everyone believed it was just another part of the celebration. But then, SFX, multiple gunshots. Everything changed. The smiles disappeared. The music no longer mattered. Someone screamed, "Run, somebody is shooting." Within seconds, the same people who had been dancing were now running for their lives. Someone's phone crashed onto the pavement. Someone lost a shoe in the crowd. Parents desperately searched for their loved ones. Some rushed inside nearby stores. Others dropped behind parked cars, praying the bullets wouldn't reach them. The celebration had turned into complete chaos, and amid the panic, one terrifying question echoed through the streets. What the hell is happening? In just a few seconds, the entire atmosphere of the street had changed. The people who were smiling moments earlier now had nothing but fear on their faces. People were running without looking back. Some were calling out to their friends. Some were holding their children close, looking for a safe place. Many people rushed inside nearby shops. Shopkeepers immediately started pulling down their shutters. Some thought it was better to hide under tables. Others crouched behind parked cars. At the same time, the 911 emergency center started receiving call after call. Please send help. Someone has been shot. We don't know where the shooter is. Every new call was more terrifying than the last. Meanwhile, New York Police Department vehicles were racing toward the scene. The sound of sirens kept getting closer and closer. Within minutes, the entire area was filled with police, ambulances, and emergency response teams. The injured were rushed to hospitals. The area was completely cordoned off. But the biggest question remained the same. Who fired the shots? Was the attacker still in the crowd? Had he run away? Or was he hiding somewhere nearby? At that moment, the police had no answers to these questions. Authorities started gathering footage from nearby CCTV cameras. Witnesses were questioned one by one. Everyone was saying something different. Someone said they only heard the sound of gunshots. Someone claimed they saw a person running away. But no one could yet say who the shooter actually was. And then news came from the hospital that made all of New York fall silent. The police officers at the scene were still questioning witnesses. When a message came over the radio, one person was in extremely critical condition. Doctors were trying everything to save him. A few minutes later, the news arrived from the hospital that made the case even more serious. 44-year-old Emmanuel Spencer had died. He had come that night like thousands of others to celebrate, but he had no idea that this night would be the last night of his life. Outside the hospital, his family and friends were heartbroken and sobbing. Some people still couldn't believe it, that a person who was with them just minutes ago was no longer in this world. Meanwhile, other people injured in the incident were still receiving treatment. Doctors were fighting to save every single patient. On the other side, the New York Police Department had declared the entire area a high-priority crime scene. The forensic team had arrived. Every piece of evidence lying on the street was being photographed. Every shell casing, every mark, every CCTV recording was now part of the investigation. Investigators knew if even one piece of evidence was missed, it might become even harder to reach the attacker. But the biggest problem was this: in a crowd of thousands of people, no one had clearly seen the attacker's face. Some people said, right after the shots, a person quickly disappeared into the crowd. Some witnesses described different clothing, but none of the stories matched exactly. This made the investigation even more difficult. Hours were passing. All of New York was watching the news live. On every news channel, there was only one question: will the police find the attacker? And perhaps, at that moment, that same question was on the minds of people all across America. Many hours had passed since the incident. The crime scene unit was doing its work. Forensic experts carefully collected every piece of evidence from the street. Meanwhile, investigators found their first major lead. Footage from several nearby CCTV cameras was intact. Police immediately started gathering footage from all nearby shops and buildings. For hours, officers watched every single video again and again. Thousands of people in the crowd, people running, panicked faces. Every frame was being examined carefully. On the other side, detectives kept questioning witnesses. Every witness had a slightly different story. Someone said, before the shots, 2 people were arguing. Someone said, it all happened so fast that nobody had time to understand anything. Some people only heard the sound of gunfire. But no one had clearly seen the attacker's face. The investigation had become even more difficult. Meanwhile, videos started appearing on social media. Some videos were recorded by people on their phones. Some videos were captured during live streams. Police appealed to the public. If anyone had recorded any video of the incident, please share it with the investigation team. As new videos emerged, the picture of the investigation started becoming clearer. Detectives began piecing together different videos to create a full timeline. They were now starting to understand how the shooting started and which direction the attacker went. But the biggest question still remained. Who was that person? Hours of investigation, dozens of witnesses, hundreds of videos, and countless pieces of evidence. After putting it all together, finally, the police arrived at a name. After hours of investigation, detectives began piecing together all the CCTV footage, mobile videos, and witness statements. Slowly, the picture of the incident became clearer. Police now understood that this was not a random, indiscriminate attack. The investigation revealed that just before the shooting, some people had gotten into an argument. At first, no one paid much attention to that argument because thousands of people were celebrating all around. Loud music, fireworks, people's voices. Amid all of this, no one had any idea that within moments this argument would turn deadly. Now police were looking for the person who had taken advantage of the crowd and slipped away after the shooting. Footage from cameras around the scene was reviewed many times. Investigators analyzed every single second, who was standing where, who ran in which direction, and who suddenly disappeared right after the incident. Every small detail was being investigated. Meanwhile, all of New York was talking about the incident. People were asking questions on social media. Will the attacker be caught? Was this a pre-planned attack? Or a sudden violent argument during the celebration? But no one had the answers to these questions yet. Police officially appealed to the public. If anyone had any video of the incident, any photo, or any piece of information, please contact the investigating agencies immediately. Every new piece of evidence was moving the investigation one step forward. But the most important question still remained. Had the police already identified the attacker, or was he still hiding somewhere in the crowds of New York? Almost an entire day after the incident, the New York Police Department held their first official press conference. Hundreds of journalists, dozens of cameras, and the eyes of the entire nation were now fixed on the police's next statement. Everyone wanted to know who fired the shots, but officials said something that made the case even more mysterious. They said, the investigation is still ongoing. Many important pieces of evidence are being examined. The people involved in the incident are being identified, and for now, they did not release any suspect's name publicly, meaning the police definitely had some leads, but they had not yet reached a conclusion. Meanwhile, detectives began interviewing dozens of people who were around the scene. Every witness was asked the same questions. What did you see just before the shooting? Did you see anyone arguing? Did you notice any suspicious person? Did anyone record someone running away during this time? Some new mobile videos came into police hands. In these videos, the chaos right after the gunshots was clearly visible. People were screaming and running. Some people lay down on the ground. Many were trying to pick others up and get them to safety. But even in these videos, the attacker's face was not clearly visible. That's why the investigation kept growing longer. Meanwhile, all of New York was discussing one thing. Was this a sudden argument during the celebration? Or had the attacker come specifically targeting someone? Answers to these questions were still not with the investigating agencies. One thing was clear. The night New York was celebrating victory, that same night, a family lost someone they loved most, and for many people, that night became a painful memory forever. But the story doesn't end here. As the investigation moved forward, one thing became very clear. This incident wasn't just about a few minutes. It had affected the lives of thousands of people. The entire area was searched again. The forensic team began examining every piece of evidence from the scene. CCTV footage, mobile videos, witness statements. Everything was being cross-referenced piece by piece. Meanwhile, the New York Police Department appealed to the public once more. If anyone has any information about the incident, any video, any photo, or any piece of evidence that could help the investigation, please contact the police immediately, officials said. Every small piece of information could be important. At the same time, security was increased throughout the city. Additional police forces were deployed. People were urged not to believe rumors. Many things were being said on social media, but police made it clear, trust only official information. As the hours passed, everyone began to realize this wasn't just a crime story. This was the story of families who had gone out to celebrate, but by the time they returned home, their lives had changed forever. Sometimes, just a few seconds are enough to change a life. On one side, all of New York was celebrating a historic victory. On the other side, a family had lost their loved one forever. Many people were injured. Hundreds witnessed that night, and thousands still shudder remembering that incident. The investigation into this case is still ongoing, and authorities continue to examine the evidence. As new facts emerge, new chapters of this story will also emerge. If any major update comes in this case, Crime Detective will bring it to you first. If you enjoy true crime stories from around the world, don't forget to subscribe to Crime Detective. If you like the video, please hit like, share your thoughts in the comments, and share this video with people who love watching real crime documentaries. I'll see you in the next true crime story. Until then, take care of yourself and your family. Thank